stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll. Edwards.
Here.
Hasty. Excused. Houston. Here. Panzera.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
President Keeler. Here. Mayor Kearns.
Here.
Director Dvorsky.
Here.
City Attorney Kuzan.
Director Kazan is excused.
Director Miller. Here. All are present except for Hasty.
Thank you. Next, we have the oath of office for Fire Medic Justin Voorhees.
Come on up here in front of the flags. You do have with you here.
This is my family.
See, are you going to hold the Bible for you?
Yes.
All right. Stand in front of him. Put your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
I, Justin Voorhees,
Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Charter and ordinances of the City of Grandview Heights,
the Charter and ordinances of the City of Grandview Heights,
and will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and will faithfully, honorably, and impartially
discharge the duties as a firefighter/paramedic
discharge the duties as a firefighter paramedic
for the City of Grandview Heights
for the City of Grandview Heights
in Franklin County, Ohio.
and Franklin County, Ohio.
Congratulations and welcome. I'll hold the Bible for you. All right, just let's get going. Justin comes to us from Scioto Township,
Yes.
is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice
All right.
job.
We'll get this framed for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And congratulations. Moving on, we'll have the approval of proceedings for July 13, 2021. Are there any amendments? Move to approve. Second. Motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Moving on, comments from visitors. I have no forms for speaking. Anyone? Moving on, department head reports. Parks and Recreation.
What a summer it's been so far. It's been extremely busy, and I can't speak highly enough of all the full and part-time staff that have chipped in, picked up the slack. We've been short-staffed at times. We started this summer, mid-May, kind of anticipating a variety of scenarios, and then June 2nd hit and we went full steam ahead. So can't speak highly enough of all the staff here we have. Hopefully you've had a chance to see the report I submitted. We did have a couple events this past weekend. We had Carriage Place players down at McKinley this weekend, very well attended, well received. Great to see the theater back, even in an outdoor setting. We had a camp out this weekend, had about 20 campers. It also included an outdoor movie, had 100 or so folks that watched the movie. And as Councilman Edwards knows, we had a cardboard boat race at the pool this weekend. About 12 participants, 6 people on each team. So hopefully your boat didn't sink. I didn't give a full report.
We didn't sink.
Okay.
We were the best.
You know, we do have a lot of summer left to go. It doesn't seem like it with school starting, but we've got another month of the pool. National Night Out tomorrow night across the street at Wyman Woods, 5 to 8 p.m. Grandview Hop returns the end of this month, Saturday, August 28th. We've got our youth triathlon returning this year. Last check, I think we were close to 250 kids signed up for that. Hope to get close to 300 range by the time we have the event. So plenty of summer to go. Hopefully the kids aren't too disappointed they're going back to school here in 2 weeks, but parents are probably pretty excited. So questions?
Are there any questions for?
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about the Pierce Field renovations?
Piercefield renovation, just completed the pour-in-place surface. We switched it from the rubberized pour-in-place to a synthetic turf. It's not the synthetic turf necessarily that you see on athletic fields. It's very similar, but it's backfilled with sand and not the ground black stuff that comes home in your tennis shoes.
Yeah.
It's kind of a new trend in playgrounds. The poured-in-place is still very effective, very nice product, but lifespan, it does crack, it does shrink, you get trip hazards, and when that happens, it's hard to almost impossible to match color. Tried a new product down there. Working through some sewer issues with the restrooms. Pushing our vendor very hardly, very strongly to get that done by the ox roast, fingers crossed, so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to, I looked at the pictures in the report, so I appreciate that. I haven't seen the new material yet, but that was my sense. It's just the new groundwork that has been done.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, some of my previous work, I know some of the materials, there's been concerns about, like toxicity, off-gassing of some of the materials that are used in that tire, so I'm kind of happy to see us move
Yeah, a
away
lot of it was
from-
the fill, similar, but that's,
Yeah.
the sand primarily is just A, to weight down the turf, and B, it gets mixed in with the grain and makes the thread of the turf stand upright, so it looks a little more like grass
Okay.
than carpet,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, that's what I.
Are there any other questions for the director? Okay.
If I may, I want to thank the director for exemplary leadership this year, particularly this summer. The parks look great, the programs have been really fantastic, and we've really good productivity, and your leadership with staff in both parks and the recreation department is really great. Thank you.
I would echo those sentiments on behalf of all council. Thank you very much. We appreciate your report and keep up the good work.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome to stay, but
I'll head on out.
you're missing out on all the fun. All right, moving on, committee reports, finance.
We will be having a finance committee meeting next Monday, the 9th, at 6 p.m. here regarding the investment, the federal relief money that's coming in and upcoming priorities for finance priorities for the city.
Planning and administration,
No meeting, no report.
recreation services and public facilities.
No meeting, no report.
Safety.
No meeting, no report.
Economic development,
No meeting, no report.
rules and productivity.
No meeting, no report.
Irving Library,
Gravy Library, Music on the Lawn starts tomorrow. Yay, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And also today was the first day that the library is fully open back to its regular hours. That is your latest in library news.
thank you. Moving on to school, I think they're discussing this possible mask mandate again. Construction is going along lovely. I don't know if anyone's seen the photos that they released, but the new building looks beautiful, and I'm excited to see that come online rather soon. So, moving on, chamber,
No report.
planning commission.
I was not able to attend the planning commission meeting. I'll defer to the mayor.
Yes,
possibly
they didn't
for
have one.
Any update? Oh, did they cancel it?
Yeah.
There was an application for the short-term rental.
They've got deferred.
Thank you.
or,
Okay.
I don't know which.
Okay, thank you.
I think I saw one on the other. Moving on, put up,
No report.
Mortse.
no meeting last month. That was the rest month for that body. There will be a meeting coming up next week on August 12th. I will be on a family vacation, so if any of my colleagues are interested in attending that and learning a little bit, substituting for me, just let me know. That's an option.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Destination Grandview, mark here. Sustainable 2050.
That group will meet again in September, so we'll update you then.
Perfect. And no meeting for the traffic advisory. I do have some feedback that I received from a certain child who might live in my house. The signal at First Northwest does not turn on for bicycles. So my 15-year-old requested that I pass on that information and make up the next we have the mayor's report.
Thank you. As mentioned, National Night Out with our police department and others will be tomorrow night at Wyman Woods. Please come, and you also can go to the Music on the Lawn afterwards. It's back at Wyman Woods this year, so that's great. We had a nice parade through the town last year and hit nearly every street, but we are thrilled to do this in person. Kogo, celebrating 8 years in Central Ohio. We are assisting them and helping them celebrate by giving away in the sweepstakes giveaway 8 annual memberships on August 8th. So you can sign up for this. Alerts have gone out, social media has gone out, and winners will be announced on our website and social media. Fire department survey is still live, or is live now, and it's live until August 20th, so please give our department the feedback that you wish, so we can continue to provide the best service possible. Service department. We have several projects, it's obviously our busy season, several projects of significance that are going on now or getting ready to start or nearly completed. First of all, Third Avenue water line extensions, those actually should be completed this week. Going to provide better hydrant pressure in that area, tying in the third. On Elmwood, on the east side of Elmwood, on the hill, retaining wall and sidewalk construction is imminent. You've probably seen preparations for that. I have not been down there in the last few days, but I know that it's getting ready to, or has started. We are conducting final testing and implementation of the signal interconnect this week. And finally, the Mulford, the lovely storm sewer that intersects the sanitary line, Mulford, that causes very difficult drainage in that area of town, is being getting ready to bed. So we're waiting on the gas company to do a line lowering, but that will go out to bid very soon. Round 2 opened last month, and Habaneros opened in Grandview Yard, thanks to those of you who attended the festivities at the ribbon cutting in the patio last month. And finally, as mentioned, the school projects, there'll be a ribbon cutting actually a week from Saturday, I believe at 11 a.m. They do have a temporary certificate of occupancy. Our safety responders have walked through, obviously our building inspectors. It's looking great. We are doing transitional planning to support their next phase. And so you obviously will see some changes around, and people need to get used to some new procedures around high school in particular, as the high schoolers are going to move into the new middle school when school starts. So yeah, hard to believe that's in 2 weeks. Be careful out there with the increased pedestrian, extracurricular, and orientation type activity at schools. And that's all I have this month.
Thank you.
Can we ask a follow-up question? Yes. About the, just make sure I have the date right, the ribbon cutting, August 14th?
I believe
That's the Saturday after
it's a
this
week
coming
from
Saturday.
Saturday, yes.
Okay.
I believe it's at 11.
Okay.
You might want to verify that.
I'm in town. Thank you.
Moving on, Director Gorski.
As the mayor said, when you get to August, we have a lot of projects because this is our building season that are probably 3/4 of the way done. So you'll see a lot of projects around the city starting to finish up. So we have a lot of that going on. In Liz's report, very detailed. You really have an appreciation for how many projects we do have in literally every corner of the city. city. We have been, Number and I met with the consultants on a Zoom call the other day, and they're winnowing down the choices for, designs and the possibilities and the layouts for municipal buildings. So we hope to see more of that August, September-ish, but just to let you know that they are working on that. Otherwise, for most departments, this is a nice time of the year to work on training, so there's been a lot of training done by the fire department. You saw in the police report that we've got 6 officers now in the Lieutenant Bike Patrol School and are skilled in that area. We have 16 officers that are now certified in crisis intervention training, so it's a good time of year to get some of that training done. Otherwise, it's been a good month on several fronts.
Thank you. Moving on, Director of Finance, Director Miller.
I sent my report a little early because I just got back from vacation, but hotel tax seems to be creeping back up slowly as we were hoping. They did do some construction at the Hyatt Place, so they had some rooms that weren't being used, so the Hyatt Place was a little lower than it normally would be, but it is coming back, which is great. Occupancies have been much better, so there's hope that that'll rebound to where we were hoping it would be. Income tax has still been okay. We're continuing to see the withholding be a little lower than we would like, but we're still pretty in a good financial position as far as our revenue expectations for this year. And we also last week got our first ARPA payment. So we did receive $436,000 last week. We put it in a separate account to kind of just keep it on its own. And as Chris said, we'll have a meeting next week to talk about our first plans and what we want to do with that money.
Great. Thank you. Director Topper is excused, and Director Kazan is excused. Moving on, old business item number 1.
Ordinance 2021-14, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and director of finance to enter into a lease agreement with the Bobcat Boosters, Inc. for the use of Pierce Field.
Thank you. This is a somewhat housekeeping item. Is there any discussion on this? Is there a motion?
To approve. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Edwards,
Yes.
Atsapatinos,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Panzera,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
President Keeler.
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-14 is approved.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing everyone at the Ox Moving on to old business item number 2.
Ordinance 2021-15, an ordinance to enact Chapter 907 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Grandview Heights entitled Small Cell Technology in the Right-of-Way.
Thank you. Councilmember Vasquez-Dinos.
Yes, we had a planning administration committee meeting on this in July. I let it go to third reading just in case there were any concerned citizens. I know that there was one particular neighbor here that had a lot of concerns. I wanted to give them time to review the design guidelines and come to a third reading if they needed to. It's come to my attention that there are a couple of amendments that need to be made during this discussion before we can vote on it. The pages aren't numbered, but if you count to page 6, at the very bottom of the page, so capital B1, for every additional 15 requests for consent that the city receives, and then insert after the first 30.
Can you say that where we are again? I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were saying full pages, front and back, or I'm not sure I'm in the right place.
Mine are only single-sided that I'm looking at, Melanie, so I apologize if yours is not the same. But the top of the page, look for lowercase b, application required,
Okay.
and then the very bottom of the page, capital B1, for every additional 15 requests for consent that the city receives, insert after that, after the first 30.
Okay, thank you.
And then the second change would be at the top of page, what I am counting as 11. the very top of the page starts with support structure used for installation.
Could you say,
The section.
the section and the
Yeah.
number and letter, that might help, please?
The section starts on the page before it with my printout, so it's 90707.
Okay.
A2,
Okay.
operator shall provide a cumulative inventory of its small cell facilities and wireless support structures to the city. We're deleting the next part of the sentence. So delete each year within 30 days of the 1st of January of that year and insert upon applying for a small cell permit.
Do you mind saying why that for the revision, just the purpose?
These were revisions that were recommended by Director Kelker and approved by
Okay.
Director Kazan.
Okay.
And the version has now been changed to version 0713-2021. Those are the only revisions. As we discussed in committee, we don't have much choice with this. It's coming, the reason why we do this is so that we can have some control over design and implementation. So I move to amend ordinance 2021-15 to the edits we just read aloud.
Second.
Does that include the substitution of the version?
I think it's just amended.
So, yeah, so it would, we're not substituting, we're amending. So you would both make the amendments, not the substitution. All right, so that's a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Hesapatinos,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Panzera,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Edwards,
Yes.
President Keeler.
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-15 has been amended.
Move to approve as amended.
Second.
Motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Hesapatinos,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Panzera,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Edwards,
Yes.
President Keeler.
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-15 in amended form has been approved.
Thank you. Moving on to old business, item number 3.
Ordinance 2021-16, an ordinance to amend section 937.05 of the codified ordinances of the city of Grandview Heights to require owners of construction sites of 1 acre or more to adhere to best management practices for storm drainage facilities.
Thank you. This is on the second reading. Councilmember Hesapatinos, has your committee met on this?
It has not, it will, it's the next meeting.
If Monday, we're trying to get the engineer there.
Right.
You know, plans.
Yeah, for purposes of explanation, we were intending to have a planning administration meeting tonight, but a lot of the key players were unable to attend, so we're deferring the committee meeting until the next one before the third reading, so that the necessary, we need Director Kuzan, and probably Director Kelker and engineers there to properly explain all this, and none of them are available. So,
We will record that as a second reading. Moving on to old business, item number 4.
Ordinance 2021-17, an ordinance accepting the Ohio Department of Public Safety Training and Equipment Grant and to advance monies from the general fund to the Fire/EMS grant fund for the purchase of training and equipment.
Thank you. Unless there's any discussion, we'll record that as a second reading. Moving on to old business, item number 5.
Ordinance 2021-18, an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of the city of Grandview Heights, Ohio.
Thank you. Again, Councilmember Hesapatinos.
same as before, we'll have a meeting on this next month, but this is something that comes up once a year and is more of a housekeeping issue, but we will put it on the agenda for the planning administration meeting next month.
Thank you. Old business, item number 6.
Ordinance 2021-19, an ordinance to accept the dedication of 0.086 acres of real property to create sidewalk easements and of 0.058 acres of real property to be incorporated into public rights of way for a public roadway at a development site at Grandview Avenue and Dublin Road and declaring it an emergency.
Thank you. Councilmember Vasquez.
Same as before, next month.
We'll record that as a second reading. Moving on, new business, item number 1.
Resolution 18-2021, a resolution authorizing the City of Grandview Heights to seek financial assistance from Ohio Public Works Commission, OPWC, to fund the Bobcat Way transformation of Fairview Avenue capital infrastructure project.
Thank you. Mayor Kearns, you have any-
Yes, perhaps, obviously from the legislation, this is to endorse the idea that we will be applying for a grant through OPWC. Just by way of brief background, the school is redeveloping their 412 campus. The redevelopment necessitates some changes to the supporting infrastructure around it. We are on recommendation and consent of everyone involved, recommendation of the Planning Commission, working with the school, have been working with them to really get the best outcomes, both for their site and for the general public in terms of the functionality and aesthetics and obviously safety of the infrastructure around the school. And so that has actually gone before Planning Commission with preliminary review twice, and most recently in June. It will be coming before the Planning Commission in later this month in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from Wednesday. And essentially to keep the project on the critical path forward, it's been determined that we should apply for this grant this year in 2021. It's due in early September, so really needs to be in the pipeline for passage very soon.
Thank you. And can you clarify Bobcat Way, is that, are they proposing that that's the name?
It's the name of the project, it's the name of the street is Fairview Avenue, and it will involve generally a complete street plan for that street, from first to third, as well as both intersections, look at both intersections.
Right, thank you. I'm going to assign this to finance. Once you get the free time.
No, it can stay in the pipeline, and it needs to be passed by September, first September meeting.
That's just for the timeline of applying for the grant.
Yes, this is a resolution, and I should mention also there's some related legislation, and we'll be bringing forward the rest of the legislative package at mid-month, so they can proceed with it.
Moving on, new business, or we'll record that as first reading. New business, item number 2.
Resolution 19-2021, a resolution authorizing the city to participate in the proposed opioid litigation settlement plan of claims against distributors of in suits against Amerisource, Virgin, Cardinal Health, and McKesson.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Kearns, or Director Miller.
This is the mass tort litigation against manufacturing distributors of opioids. There's a whole host of those entities. I brought you one last month that had to do with a bankruptcy of Purdue Pharma. It was a Chapter 11 settlement. This is procedurally is the mass tort injury litigation against, again, the 3 plus others that I mentioned, or that were mentioned, Amerisource, Virgin, Cardinal, and McKesson. It's a proposed settlement. Ohio is going to be first or second to settle from what we know from the municipal league and the lawyers involved, both the Attorney General and the Governor recommending this settlement in times of the essence. It needs to be passed tonight. It's essentially to receive consent to participate for Grandview Heights, and we're obviously involved in a governmental entity who provides first response services. And you're aware of the devastation that's been caused by the opioid epidemic, and it continues.
Thank you. I am going to recuse myself because
to approve.
Second.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Houston,
Yes.
Panzera.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Edwards,
Yes.
Hacefatinos,
Yes.
President Keeler is recused. Resolution 19-2021 is approved.
Moving on to other business, we have the liquor permit transfer, request for transfer of D5, D6 liquor permit for the Grandy Cafe LLC, also known as Grandy Cafe for 1312 Grandview Avenue during high school half for 3212 for liquor permit for Balboa. I do not believe there were any issues with this permit. So we would vote to not take action. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that a hearing is not required.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Moving on, comments from council members. Are there any comments?
I just have a event reminder I'm going to share. The same as the last meeting, but the event hasn't occurred yet. So this is the impact of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. It is on August 26th, which I believe is a Thursday at 7 p.m. And if folks could help me spread the word, I'd really appreciate it. We're actually having Phil Armstrong, who is the project manager of the Centennial Commission, and part of the Greenwood Rising Center, Susan Bradford, our own of Columbus, executive director of the Lincoln Theater, poet and Tulsa native, Carolyn Bennett, and then we also hope to have a fourth panelist who's an artist based in Tulsa, whom we talked to last week. So again, community members can register at the library. That will be open right up until the event, and looking forward to it. Thank you.
Just to clarify, registration is required.
Yes, registration is required, and it is another online panel event.